That we'll get an update on the oil and gas sector. A lot of debate about this sector as Parliament is expected to meet on Monday to discuss this. Speaker Rebecca Kadaga issues guidelines enforcing or trying to enforce guidelines that are supposed to enforce the secrecy of these agreements. We'll be looking at that in detail. Also, the fight against corruption. Former Vice President Gilbert Bukenya is jailed. We'll look at the ramifications of that. 3 ministers have been summoned to appear in court on the 13th. We'll look at what this actually means. The 49th independence celebrations. On Sunday, Uganda commemorates 49 years of independence. We'll be looking at what this means. And Uganda versus cranes. What is likely to happen? President Museveni was there this morning. He gave 50 million shillings. Other people have been there, including the Speaker of Parliament, the Prime Minister of the nation. At the same time, one of the key players, David Obo, has been fired from the camp for sheer indiscipline. Our guests tonight, Mr. Nyago, Deputy Principal Private Secretary to the President, we expect him to join us shortly. Mr. Imam Eid Kasozi, lecturer at IUIU, also a Muslim cleric. You're most welcome, Imam.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers and listeners. Viewers,
because we are also on the internet, you can view or download a copy of the Spectrum video of the internet. Go to YouTube and type Spectrum Radio 1 Kampala. It will come up, and then you can choose a video that you like to see, or go straight to the Radio 1 website, that is Radio 1 FM 90.com. Our third guest, we're also joined by Mr. Donitz Abainomugisha, senior geologist in charge of petroleum exploration and production department at the Ministry of Energy. You're most welcome, Mr. Abainomugisha.
Thank you, and good evening, listeners and viewers.
Our fourth panelist is Mr. Vincent Mayanja, Deputy Secretary General of the Democratic Party. You're most welcome, Mr. Mayanja.
Thank you, Edmond. Good evening, viewers and listeners.
Let's talk about the oil and gas sector. Talking about transparency, Mr. Mayanja, transparency and accountability. Parliament is showing up on Monday, but the Speaker has issued guidelines saying the documents must remain secret. What does that mean?
Well, I hope that this oil resource is for Ugandans, and Ugandans need to know. I understand that world over, oil agreements have what they call those clauses that should never be revealed to anybody without the consent of the other party. But because many of the countries have faced problems with the oil sector, I think it is imperative, it is important that agreements between Uganda and any oil exploration company should be made available, should be known by people's representatives. We are not telling government that really go and publish them everywhere, but I think Parliament is part of government. These agreements are between the government of Uganda and those explorers, those companies. And the government of Uganda has 3 arms of government. The legislature is part of the government, and the executive is part of government. So if these agreements are going to be presented to Parliament, I think it is just in order that members of Parliament know the nitty-gritty of these agreements.
Well, but if they fall in the hands of Parliament, they might as well be public. You'll see them in the newspapers tomorrow.
Well, I want to believe that members of Parliament took an oath of office, and they are a serious body in this country. And I think that what is exclusive, what is really not supposed to be told to the public, will remain there. But of course, we have journalists, they have the right. We already have a law in place which is about
access to information.
People are free to access information. So I don't see any problem. Unless these agreements have things that are really very bad, that are going to even injure the security of the country, I don't find anything really sacred about these agreements.
All right. We've just been joined by Mr. Nyago. He's just walked in, Deputy Principal Private Secretary to the President. You're most welcome, Mr. Nyago.
Thank you, Edmond. Good evening, listeners.
Imam, talk to us about this sector. The Parliament, one of the things that they're talking about, one of the items they gave for the meeting on Monday, is that they want to quash the secrecy, the confidentiality clauses from the agreement. Is that something that can work in a modern world, doing business?
Thank you very much. You see, it is astonishing to come up today and somebody tells you that there are certain clauses that must be kept secret and private. The reason why it is being said is because there is one important aspect of life that we have given up: sincerity and trust. Because there is no sincerity, there is no trust, people reach that stage. And number two, is that a blueprint? Is it the gospel? Is it the Quran that is not supposed to be seen?
Well, the Quran is a public
document. If the Quran is a public document,
so the oil agreement should be public.
It's a holy document.
You see, so the whole idea, the whole idea is because there is a problem, and this problem, until it is clearly solved, we shall have so many other problems. Because what are we now asking for? I said before on this program, and I want to reiterate it, that because common sense died and people did not attend his burial, that's why we are in this confusion. And therefore, what the parliamentarians are doing, they are trying now to help to come back. You know, members of parliament in his parliament, on this program, I refer to them as hopeless.
Oh.
They now want to be hopeful.
Strong word.
Yes, they are struggling to be hopeful.
Right.
And this, therefore, their demands are right.
Okay.
That's why things are changing every other day, because initially, for example, the Speaker of Parliament did not know that she was part of Parliament.
Right.
And two, she did not know, she did know, but she was deliberately, until people told me, hey, girl, we are your bosses. And so, I am now very hopeful that institution building in this country is beginning to develop, and we shall achieve what we have been looking for.
All right. Well, so the answer is to organize a funeral for common sense, as you said. Mr. Abainomugisha, talk to us about why are these documents secret?
In the first place, we welcome Parliament's decision to debate the oil sector. It's a welcome decision, because Parliament, as you rightly noted, is an arm of government, and its role is an oversight role to the executive, and therefore it has also to oversee the oil sector. However, in overseeing the oil sector, Parliament has to also abide by the existing laws, which laws were made to guide the country. And the petroleum exploration and production, we have not yet gone into production, but the petroleum exploration has been guided by an existing law.
Which one is that?
The Petroleum Exploration and Production Act, enacted in 1985,
yes,
and revised in 2000 to conform with the Constitution made in 1995.
What does it say?
Article 59 of the Constitution says, and I read number 1, section 59, number 1, subject subsection 2, no information furnished or information in a report
which
submitted.
page is that? I'd like to follow it with you. On this
section 59.
Which page is that?
You look at this.
59, all right.
Yeah. No information furnished or information in a report submitted pursuant to this act by a licensee shall be disclosed to any person who is not a government minister or an officer in the public service, except with the consent of the licensee.
Go on. No.
However, gives the details of how this information can be accessed. That means the information is not secret. The information is confidential.
Yes, continue.
It's confidential.
The information is confidential, but can be accessed. Subsection 2 gives details of how this information can be accessed, and subsection 3 and 4 gives penalties of whoever diverges that information. Now the ball is in the court of parliament to amend this act.
Right.
And then we provide the information.
So even when they meet on Monday, very briefly, if this section still stand, these sections of the law, they cannot really see the documents unless they swear an oath.
We are saying Parliament is an arm of government.
So they should
make laws. They are an arm of government.
Yes.
And therefore, they can access the production sharing agreements. And that's why we tabled them in Parliament in June last year.
Yes.
Because we know Parliament can access these agreements as part of government.
But under certain guidelines.
Under certain guidelines, because the PSAs are confidential.
So they don't leak.
So they don't leak.
Yes. Talk to us about Monday. The Parliament is meeting. They're probably not going to say anything because the clauses tie their hands. It's here in the law.
Thank you, Edmond. To begin with, it's the same Parliament that made this law.
Yes.
So, really, it's to say the least, should I say ridiculous, because it's the same Parliament. Had it been, say, the Parliament of America or the Parliament of Idi Amin, it would have been a different case.
Yes.
But the same Parliament acting under the same constitution. So, and everything, and then the rule of law says that you must respect the law as it is, not as you want it. I think the technical officer here is very correct. The best way forward, if they want everything to be spilled out, is to amend the law. And that is within their powers. But then, that's it. Much of what they want, if not all what they want, was given to them more than last year, because it was given to them according to the technical officer in June. We are in August. We are in October now.
Right, more than a year.
So one can't argue that because it was it the 7th Parliament? What is it?
Eighth Parliament.
Because it was the 8th Parliament that we in the 9th. No, that's not how that's not how modern governance operates. Even within the clan system, if your father did something, committed himself and said Madam Kago, a blood relationship with somebody of another clan, then it binds to the lineage. So really, I think instead of organizing these inductions where they get experts that blow hot hair, they should, I think, be inducted into the real nitty-gritty of how Parliament operates, because the 8th Parliament was accessed these documents. And the law that hinders this was made by the same Parliament. So really, I think the question is who is fooling whom.
I think.
Do you want information?
I think divert a bit.
Well, no, before you divert, before you divert, I want to inform these two gentlemen that the agreement they are talking about have changed since. That you had, I think, was it Tulo? What was it?
Talo.
Heritage came, and you signed an agreement with Heritage.
Yes.
Heritage changed its stakes to another person. So what is the agreement in place?
Well, I think the standard stays the same.
I want to agree with the
Mr. Abainomugisha, let's hear from you.
I want to agree with what he has read.
Let's hear from Mr. Abainomugisha.
Why don't you want people to listen to
Let me respond to what he's raising, that we signed the agreements and the companies left and others came in. What happens in the industry is these companies, small companies, come and acquire acreage and do exploration.
Yes.
Because they don't have enough financial capital to go into development and production, they sell to bigger companies.
Yes.
Or they farm in, sell some of their shares to bigger companies to do development and production.
at the expense
So what happens is that the one company has to abide by the production.
So let us set an end whatever oil when we are grasping.
I think we'll try to avoid
the agreement that was signed on the one of taking over.
Allow me opportunity to say what I want to say. In the view of the statement,
okay, you interrupted him. I want to ask him to say the same thing. Can you say it again without interruption this time?
Without interruption.
Yes.
What we are saying is small companies come in and do exploration because they don't have enough financial capital to go into development and production. They are willing to take the risk,
which the big ones are not willing.
Which the big ones are not willing to do. The big ones now come in when the discoveries have been made and you want to go into development and production.
And that is normal worldwide. It's
That's
only
normal worldwide. That's standard practice.
Imam
Yes.
Kasozi.
standard practice this is selective. It's a relativity. These terms are relative.
Okay.
And the way they applied, again, they apply them relatively.
Okay.
I want to appreciate that Abainomugisha has done for us a very wonderful job by coming up here and saying that the statement is there and explaining to us that it was given to Parliament. But I am asking, if people sit down somewhere and they want to cheat us, and we come up tomorrow that there is no.
I think we are going to have to avoid.
Why don't we want to be asked?
Let's keep it logical. Mr. Chief.
Now, you know, it's like this. True heritage, change its position or stakes in the but it's important to note that as an investment destination, when heritage took the risk, brought the capital and brought the technology to do this, Uganda was not at all an attractive investment destination globally.
Yes.
Because look, capital is not dying to come to Uganda. Capital is dying to go to China, where there have been no military coups, no change of government in the last 50 years.
Right.
Huge market. Capital is dying to go to Eastern Europe. Capital is dying to go to Brazil or South Africa.
True, the BRICS.
When you look at, or Russia for that matter, when you look at Uganda's profile, independence 62, 66 constitutional abrogation, 71 or 69 state of emergency, 71 Idi Amin, 72 Asian expulsion, 78, 79 removal of Idi Amin. Within 79 and 80, 3 governments collapse, civil war, Obote goes. I mean, nobody in his right sense. And then where is Uganda located? East of DRC. The last 10 years, most people have died east of DRC due to war. 5 million. North of Rwanda. South of South Sudan. Ready?
Not to mention Somalia.
Not to mention Congo.
Nobody
So that's
imagine. We say it is
so when heritage came, heritage may not have had the best practices, but at least they were willing to come to Uganda. They had the capital, they had the investment, which Uganda didn't have, or Ugandans didn't have.
That is excellent. But they have said it is a risk. Why do we take risks? Why do we take risks? It's so that we get the benefit of that risk. Okay? So in this instance, if you take the risk, you know that you are taking it on behalf of others. In the final analysis, the others are not brought just because you took the risk. Unless what the risk area is the personal thing.
Yes, Mr. Abainomugisha.
Yes,
move forward.
I don't understand what you are trying to raise, because these companies took risks, and the oil industry worldwide is high risk, but it's also high reward.
No, it is
that's why people invest in it, because it's high reward.
That's true.
That's why Heritage invested 150 million and sold at 1.5 billion. But also provides government an opportunity to tax that gain. And that's what Uganda is trying to do. We said we shall not approve this transaction until our taxes are paid, and the taxes were paid. We said if you want to go to court, you take us to court when the tax is already with us, and they did pay us and went to court.
No, I think you didn't answer my observation. Yes, I agree that bigger companies came in when they saw that there are big stakes in this industry.
Yes.
What I'm asking, you signed an agreement with Heritage.
Yes.
You now have Taro.
Yes.
And Taro wants to sell to a Chinese company. When a Chinese company comes here and they do anything that is detrimental to the country, are you going back to Heritage or the person who is on the ground?
Explain that.
We approve the transaction, and in approving the transaction, the company that's coming in commits itself to take over the obligations, the agreement of the company that's selling.
So those are the
agreements. So we sign a new agreement. The old agreement prevails and is the one guiding the new company that has come.
But they have to sign something. Mr. Abainomugisha, have you heard of the United Nations covenant on socio-economic and human rights activities? You know why it came up?
Yes.
Because of those risks. So those of us who are aware of it, that's why we raise these pertinent questions now. That whoever is hiding behind secrecy or privacy, confidentiality per se, is telling a lie. Because he has an international covenant in place to protect him.
Also, Edmond,
yes,
the listener should be reminded that this oil was not created by God and I'm saying.
Yes.
No, not at all. This oil has been in this soil of Uganda for millennia.
Yes.
If you have to believe what they people...
We first saw it in 1933, actually.
Oh, but I mean, because it's created from the dinosaurs who died millennia ago. It has been in the soil for millennia.
Yes.
Whether the white man saw, but the majority even saw it a long time ago. I mean, history. But the point, it has been in the soil for millennia. So, and when the British were here, they just looked at it as if it didn't make sense to them.
Right.
And the other regimes that were in power thereafter. So, where it is heritage that extracts this oil.
Right, so you can't fault them. We'll have to go for a break. We'll be back after this very, very short hiatus.
I wanna be alive and free.
I wanna be alive and free. I wanna be alive and free.
I wanna be alive and free. I wanna be alive and free. You and me.
the spirit that binds us. Strictly not for sale to persons under 18 years. Please drink responsibly.
Is your internet provider turning your world upside down? Broadband Company offers fast and reliable internet solutions. And for the first 100 subscribers this month, we offer zero connection fees. Save up to 400,000. For more information on these offers, call toll-free 0800 222 111.
Broadband Company, more than you expect.
Many have attempted to navigate the sensual waters of jazz and soul, but few have managed to truly make the genre their own. Fewer still have succeeded in going beyond the ordinary and gaining international acclaim, captivating their audiences, taking them on trips, journeys of nostalgia, and leaving them looking forward to more. Join Gerald Albright and Howard Hewitt together with a host of jazz and soul maestros for the annual Nile Gold Jazz Safari on Friday the 7th of October, 6 p.m. in Palace Arena Hotel. Come on a journey into the heart of soul. The Nile Gold Jazz Safari, a tribute to the legends of soul. Brought to you by Nile Gold, beyond the ordinary.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back to Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight we are reviewing the week. We've just been talking about oil, a very motive topic. We'll move forward to other things. Our guests, though, tonight, Mr. Nyago, Deputy Principal Private Secretary to the President, Mr. Vincent Mayanja, Deputy Secretary General of the Democratic Party, and Imam Eid Kasozi, lecturer at IUIU Muslim, cleric, and Mr. Donitz Abainomugisha. He's a senior geologist in the Petroleum Exploration and Production Department of the Ministry of Energy. Let's talk about corruption. Imam Kasozi, Professor Bukenya is in jail. He's lost his seat, double jeopardy. Some people would say 3 ministers have been summoned to appear in court. But the IGG, very, very importantly, says Mbabazi is clean, as the president said, white as a sheet.
Interesting. Then Mbabazi is a super person, and therefore, and therefore I will applaud him for that. But because there is the Temangalo incident on his hands, I can't completely say he is as what they want to describe him to be. But because I have stated, and I want to reiterate it, in a home we have so many people. They are children, they are workers, they are parents. If a parent broke a plate, a cup, nobody questions. If a child breaks a cup, they will question. If a worker breaks the cup, they will question and tax this worker. So that is the difference in the whole of this scenario. I am very, very supportive.
Talk to us in plain language.
I am very happy that Kenya is in prison.
Oh.
And for me, I am not like the people are saying it is bad. It is good for this country. Yes. I can go and see him.
Just to be sure he's there.
No, not just to be sure he's there. To comfort him and to know him that that is what life is all about. When you raise some occasion, you must know that at some time you may fall down. So